Hello, YouTube. Danielle or Isleen here if you guys are coming over from the Crossroads channel. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Hopefully this will work. This will be day 2. It keeps saying it's not picking up my audio, and I just tested it, and then it's picking up audio just fine. So I'm not sure if it's just doing an intermittent thing or what it's doing. This will be day 2 of Vlogmas 2019. And this topic today is, what are your passions in life? I was thinking about this one a bit. I have a lot of hobbies, too many. One of my big passions, though, is my spiritual practice and my Wiccan spirituality and that kind of thing. Often, though, with that, I felt like I was very limited on what I could do, or at least what I felt I could do up until relatively recently. A little bit more over the past couple of years. It's gotten better, but there was definitely a point in time where it's like I felt like I just really couldn't do much else besides what I was already doing. That's just part of what happens when I was solitary and I didn't really know any people in the community, and then I got into the community and that helped, and now I have a coven and that helped, and so it's been this progression, but it's taken a lot of time, and part of that is just the situation that I have with I have 5 kids, right? So there's limitations that happen when you have young children. Now my youngest just turned 12 yesterday. So they're all fairly independent on the things they can do. My oldest is 18, so she's, an adult and able to do her own stuff. She's still living here. She's in college. She's doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, so there's others in between. I have 2 13, almost 14-year-olds, and then a 15, almost 16-year-old. Currently, I'm somewhat limited on what I can do myself because we're down sharing. We have 2 cars, but 3 drivers, so that limits what certain people can do during certain hours, because if it's school and work time for a couple people, that means I don't have a car unless I want to do extra driving. Family is definitely one of my passion things. I like cooking and making stuff. I have my 2 sourdough starters are still going strong-ish. They've been a little neglected. I'm working on getting back into the swing of things since the shift of letting go of doing my online school stuff, which parts of me kind of miss, and other parts of me are like, yes, I don't have to do that anymore. Not the typical thing that we do, right? I knit and crochet, and I used to do that a whole bunch. I've kind of tapered off the past couple of months. And that has to do with politics ruin everything, basically. I will put it at that. Some people will get what I'm getting at with that, others won't, and yeah, it's not necessarily something I want to talk about too much, because apparently that just opens up a whole new can of worms. Which kind of goes into a segue on another thing I end up finding myself being pretty passionate about, and that's sort of moderation. I don't like statements of absolutes, and when I find something that is a statement of absolutes, depending on the situation, I might ignore it if it's, someone that I really don't know. But if it's someone that I know on some level and they make some sort of statement that is wildly one way or another, it's like, that's not really the best way you could word that. And I try to do it in that type of manner. and I'm not like correcting people and being all like nitpicky on things. At least I don't think so. But certain topics, people just get their hackles up and it creates issues. And then I just find myself kind of sad about it. Let's see. I do all sorts of crafty things. I already talked about knitting and crocheting. I have been known to do cross stitch. This was a kit. This came from a friend, but I did do it. It has a mistake on it, but I made the mistake as it is now a feature. That's what you do with your mistakes. Roll with them, and now they are a design element. I've knitted a couple sweaters. Let's see. I don't think I have very much right here around me. I have done quilting. I've done stuff with polymer clay. Basically, I haven't met crafty stuff that I don't do at least once in a while. That's why I run a local group here called Stitch and Witch. It's on its, why do I always forget? I believe 7th year now. We just celebrated the 7th, and I know I talked about it on the last month's meeting because that was the anniversary of it. Hey, Sasha. Hey. We have a few cats here. This one's mine. Hi. Are you going to jump up there? Yeah, you are. She has decided that the spot that I used to keep my altar when I moved my desk is now her spot. It's actually why I ended up moving my desk, because she knocked over my Kate statue. That was fun. So back to the topic of the passions. Of course, I'm not thinking of certain things. I tinker around with different organization systems with my house and try and keep things relatively neat, which is relatively difficult with 5 teenagers in the house. She's an adult, but you know, she's not necessarily the best at cleaning up after herself. The oldest. I dabble in painting. I've done adult coloring book pages. Yeah, I'm pretty passionate on crafty shit. Which is why it kind of hurts a bit with me not wanting to necessarily pick up my yarn stuff right now. I have done a couple projects. I made a hat for a friend that I need to ship off to her. But, yeah. And I hate having to, like, feel like I'm censoring what I'm saying when I'm not really wanting to censor what I'm saying for this. It just created a lot of drama that I don't want to deal with, because I feel like people are not wanting to hear anything except what they want to hear, and they're not willing to even entertain the idea of anything outside that bubble. So that's where I end up feeling apathetic in certain areas, because it's like, well, I really don't feel like what I do matters or could change anything even if I did say something. So, yeah. Needless to say, there was a knit and crochet community that took a stance that's perfectly well within their right to take that stance, but I still don't necessarily agree with how they handled the situation. So, yeah, I just haven't been wanting to partake in much of that community lately, and that sucks because, like, I run a group that sort of is within that community. It's a bit of a challenge, but I'm not going to change how I tried to handle on my side. I'm not going to change that just because of the few comments that I did get. I just don't want to open that can of worms. So Let me see. I enjoy doing a lot of things that I don't do often enough. I like writing. I just don't tend to make enough time for it. I enjoy doing stuff on my YouTube channel, and I have a hard time making time for it, which is actually why I thought that this Vlogmas thing would be kind of fun, because I thought, you know, I can do 15 minutes a day and do something, and hopefully that will kind of establish a little bit of a habit. Um, Even though my ideal schedule for my personal channel is more like once a week rather than every single day, I just thought it'd be fun to participate in Vlogmas. I also have paper planner stuff that I enjoy doing. I don't know if that's necessarily a passion per se, but I enjoy it. So currently using a classic size happy planner. That I have customized. It's actually in a custom or a deluxe cover, but I have that cover, but that's not the planner that it came with. It is a happy planner. We'll show you my October, because that was when I was tracking my movies that I was watching for October, and I have actually started one for December to watch Christmassy movies. So that's something fun to decorate and kind of feel like I've got some control over my life sometimes. Make lists and plan stuff and write it down and use calendars and still have no idea what's going on. I'm one of those people. My latest thing, my latest obsession, a little bit. I've always enjoyed like doing my nails, but my latest thing is stamping them. You can't really see because the camera doesn't want to focus. Focus, camera, focus. Nope, not going to. Let's see. I'll try. Things like mirrored, and it's weird. I don't like doing things in reverse. Nope, not going to focus. Could try a piece of paper behind it, maybe that might work, but I don't think I have one that doesn't require me ducking under the table. Yeah, I'm my coven, my family and family, you know, chosen family, given family. I like doing a lot of domestic-y stuff. I like owls. I also like frogs. I collected horses when I was really little. Then as like a teenager, it moved to frogs. And as an adult, it moved to owls. So those are the 3 different things that I have collected for animal-wise. My mom collected seals, so I do have some seals that kind of are around. We've got a couple actually under the Christmas tree because Yule tree, because she had little stuffed animals, and when I was growing up, that's what we did up until the gifts were under the tree. We just had a bunch of Christmassy stuffed animals that got put up, and then they only came out for Christmas time. So that's fun. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums up some things. I'm absolutely certain there are things that I forgot about because that's how these work. I honestly don't really feel like there's a lot that I'm super, super passionate about until you get me in the moment of actually being passionate about that particular thing. I don't think of it as in that way until it happens. And I do know that my spirituality is one of them. My family is one of them. Crafty stuff is one of them, just due to the sheer number of crafty stuff that I have in my house. But yeah, when it comes to other passion things, it's got to be the right thing, and then I'll just kind of rant and rave. But I still don't rant and rave to specific people. I will rant and rave to my in-group. I don't feel like, yeah. The few times I've tried to like make a statement in terrible platforms because online's a terrible platform for platforming anything. Because if you try and like say something on Facebook, people will take it the wrong way. They won't give you the benefit of the doubt. This means that I don't necessarily participate anymore in most online forums and online discussions. I've sometimes read things, but I don't necessarily like to comment too much. I actually feel like the written word is how I communicate the best, but I don't feel like it's received the best sometimes. So, it's even a big step. Anyone who's done YouTube stuff knows that your first video is most of the time absolutely terrifying. So, the courage to even do one. No, Sasha, you are going to leave the light alone. So behind the desk and is sniffing the light on the camera. So I think that'll be it for today's vlog. I will see you guys tomorrow with the next topic for Vlogmas.